Good morning and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS, with your host, Bob Pace. It's a hard thing to hear the words CPS. To a lot of people, it means a lot of different things. But to me, it was a terrible experience. And imagine most of you that come to my live stream, it is also, we have something in common. We met a rogue CPS entity out there. It's a government entity that in 1962 was mandated by Congress to social services to create a group of social workers to protect our children from neglect and abuse, which has been going on for eons of time. The history of CPS is in three parts. Part one is from 1600s, the days of colonial times, to 1875 when the Native American Indians were settled on reservations, and the Indian children were taken and put into Indian schools. Their hair cut, their traditions erased, their language stopped, and very abusive treatment for them. And they never saw their families, they never came back. From 1875 to 1962 this is the second period. And during there, we had a lot of trouble with our children being put into slave labor and uh, sweatshops and whatnot. And we always had the society, which is a group of individuals that have money to take care of and help out our children. But it wasn't until 62 that the government decided to take an interest. And it wasn't until 1974 when the laws they passed were enforced. Um, Doctors were first educated to recognize child abuse and report it. Um, Basically, to anybody, there's a mandated reporter, which are your professionals, your doctors, your nurses, your teachers, your counselors, your principal, your law enforcement, your fire, anybody that works professionally with children is mandated by law to report it. Otherwise, they'll be prosecuted. And 75% of the time, these mandated reporters are correct. There is 1,000 cases every day of child abuse that goes unreported. Now, the second reporter is the layperson. That's the second kind of reporter. And they are your family and friends and acquaintances and neighbors and relatives and anybody that doesn't work professionally with children. They also report it. But the problem is 50% of the time they're wrong. It's at 50-50. Some cases might be even more. A lot of them report it because they're trying to get back at their spouse, or they don't like the neighbor's dog barking, or the yard is overgrown, or whatever. They abuse the system. In both cases, I think they should be in writing and signed by them with a phone number. Still keep it in confidence, but if they found out that what they said is not true, then they should be persecuted because nothing is terrible to waste time and energy to report something that isn't true. It gives you no gain. There are too many corrupt CPS entities out there, and that's what I call the child protection system. Is a group of entities in every county, every state, and every country. And this being a worldwide live stream, I do have 22 countries. I have Indonesia and Bangladesh and India. Then in the Middle East, I have Saudi Arabia and Libya. Then over in Africa, I have Liberia and Sudan and Republic of Congo, um, Rwanda and Mozambique. And then I have South Africa, two provinces there. Then up to Europe, I have England, Scotland, Wales, Denmark, and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, I have four provinces in Canada. I have all 50 states that have called in, including the District of Columbia, with CPS cases that are awful. Then south of the border, I have Mexico, and then In South America, north of Brazil, on the east coast, I have Grenada. And then across the Pacific, I have New Zealand. And then south of New Zealand, the land down under, I have Australia. Two states there. That's over 1,500 people that have told me about their case. That's a lot of people. I've been doing this for 18 months. And I'm on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and on the weekend at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then on the evenings, I'm on 7 days a week at 7 p.m. I'll let you know there's any differences in time changes. But as I say, I've been doing this since October of 2023. And it's been really, 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 really hard. Um, 18 months is a long time. Um, I've done all of 24 and holidays and everything. And I too had a case. I had a horrible case. I've been fighting CPS for 15 years, and my case started off with 5 years of false claims that I had to dispute. Then, when my case and my children were ripped from me and stolen in traffic and put into foster care and abused, it went on for 3 years. In my first year, I didn't have an attorney. I had what was called a court appointed attorney. It was worthless time. Until I hired an attorney. In order to hire an attorney, I had to sell my house, a quick sale, to get the money to pay the retainer and get my family back. But I didn't get all my family back. Sadly, CPS was so corrupt that they retaliated. The social worker I had didn't even have a high school education, no training, and that was the Orange County Child Protection Services. And they, in turn, ripped my family apart and placed them in so much danger. And one of the times in court, I had hired Vincent Davis after 1 year, and he was my attorney, who's the person that has put together this live stream. And I want to thank him very much for what he does. Uh, he has 39 years of fighting CPS. He's trained and educated in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He's also a trial attorney. He's a pit bull of attorney. He's done lawsuits after a case is closed. He's done civil lawsuits against people that have committed perjury and so forth. And he's won millions of dollars both in state court and federal court. So he's not afraid to sue CPS or fight CPS. And he knows the laws because you're dealing with an agency is like open heart surgery. If you're going to get your heart worked on, you get a professional doctor. You don't use uh, a mechanic or a wannabe doctor or somebody that's a friend or whatever it is. You get the real thing. And the same thing holds true for attorney for CPS. You need that. You need someone to navigate because CPS is so corrupt. They're not transparent. They retaliated, and how they retaliated on my daughter is that when my attorney caught the social worker committing perjury, she was so embarrassed, but she told my wife that you'll never see your daughter again. And she immediately, at my 12-year-old daughter, told her, you need to emancipate from your parents. You can do that at 12 years of age in California. You can emancipate. That means you divorce your mom and your dad, divorce your brothers. You have your three brothers and two sisters. They're gone. You divorce your grandparents, both sets. They're gone. Your aunts and uncles and cousins. You divorce them. And then on top of that, the social worker told her to change her name. And she took out her beautiful middle name, Hanalei. That was a place, a paradise in Kauai. We loved our daughter. We loved it. And she was also told to seal her birth certificate that we're no longer the birth parents. And then she got a new birth certificate. And she put her foster care parents on it. Plus, she got a second Social Security card and was double dipping in my Social Security retirement. She was taking out twice as much. And that's the money that I had earned that was taken out of my paycheck over 60 years ago. And that was being sent to me. But because you're an older person, you get additional help because you have young children. So I was getting additional help, but she was double dipping. She was getting $2,000 a month. I never saw the money. The money went to her foster care parents, who were very wealthy. Together, they had over half a million income. And she liked money. My daughter liked money. That's one of the weaknesses. Money is the root to all evil. We make money and people have money. Our richest man, Elon Musk, says he has too much money. But anyway, he has a creative mind, and there's nothing wrong with people that have a lot of money. I mean, I'm not against that, but it really sad though when you have a social worker that's so evil that she would force my daughter. So that's how my family. I mean, my two boys, my attorney got back after 3 years of going through all kinds of stuff, and I've made 5 rules that will help you all, and they're recorded. But today I want to talk about topics, and hopefully you all are listening, and you can share with me a topic you have a question about. Now, I do phone calls from 8 to 10 and from 11 to 1 to potential people that would want legal help, potential new clients called PNCs. And I call them and, ask them, what you need to know, what you need to know help wise. And the answer to fighting CPS is have a good attorney in your court. You need a pit bull of attorney, and Vincent Davis is that attorney. So he's one of the 3 candidates that you should consider. I tell people to get 3 quotes, and Vincent is one of those quotes. He's $500 an hour. His retainer for LA County is $5,000. So that gives you kind of a ballpark what you have to work with. Now, in my case, I had to sell my home. I had a bigger retainer and a harder case. Orange County is really a tough agency. So I sold my house in a quick sale and used that money to finance my attorney. I know that a lot of you don't have the funds, and it's the hardest thing to do because you need an attorney because you're dealing with this open heart surgery issue and you need someone that has expertise. Hold on one second. Hold on one second here on my live stream. I'm going to Hi again. I had to take a call from the Vincent W. Davis's office. One of my workers who helps me, Angie, had some questions, and so I took some time to talk to her. But right now, I'm looking for people in my room, and it doesn't look like we have some people, but no one is texting me a question or a message or a comment or something in there. Now, to text a comment in here or a question, All you do with your message, it should pertain to CPS. Please state your first name, your city, your county, your state, and if you're from another country. I've already talked about the countries. Also, please tell me about your CPS case from beginning to where you're at. Now, a second way that you can interact with this live stream is to be a guest. And to be a guest, you need to contact our show producer. Her name is Grace, and her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. You want to do it with the date and time you want to be on her show. And there's 14 shows to pick from. All you have to do is say, I want Bob's Sunday morning show, or Bob's Saturday night show, or Bob's Wednesday morning show, or Bob's Tuesday evening show. That's all you have to say. And she'll give you a link. I broadcast using StreamYard on YouTube. And I have 7 rooms that are funneled in from Facebook. And anywhere you find, Fighting CPS with Bob Pace, they'll bring you to my shows when they're live. So email her. She will tell you directions of what to say or do on the show. She'll help you with your sound and your quality of your transmission. She's really good, and I do appreciate Grace, and I want to thank her very much for all she does. Another way to interact with my live stream is to call me. You can call me at 626-698-0990. And that's great because you can talk already on the show. Now, being a guest involves 9 people can be on at one time. Doing the phone call, I can only handle one call at a time. So there's the difference between a guest and live stream there. I mean, on phone calling. And so it's great. And the thing is, both being a guest or live streaming, you'll get a free 15-minute consultation time with Mr. Davis. That means a private Zoom call, and he'll answer any of your questions. So if you call in or you're a guest, that's the benefit of calling in and being a guest, because you get a free 15-minute with one of the best family law, juvenile law, dependency law attorneys. He is well known and well respected. And I've already told about it. He once was a foster kid himself, too. I forgot to neglect to tell you that. Now, I have some other information I'd like to share with you. I have the stand.store/attorney VWD. Now, don't forget to put the HTTPS // but the stand store will have a lot of publications and a lot of packages for special deals regarding hiring an attorney. Now, one of the guides we're promoting right now that's new is called the Grandparents Guide. And there are other resources there at the stand.store. But you go there and you get the Grandparents Guide. It's a step-by-step guide of how to adopt your grandchildren. It's brand new. It's out there. It's $9.99, but with my discount code of PACE, PACE 50, you get 50% off. And that is the stand.store. Now, if 15 minutes is not enough time with Vincent Davis and you have more questions, I have a special rate. For $60, you get 30 minutes of a private Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis. Now, all you have to do is go to the website, https://candidly.com/apps appts/VD/Bob Pace. And so there's now several ways you can get a hold of Mr. Davis. Also, Mr. Davis is on at 6:30 in the morning and has a live stream like I do, and he'll answer you questions. He also does office hours during the week, and he is on Saturday. He has a question and answer session. Now, if you want to find the schedule or more information, There's a number on my screen, 888-888-6582. That's the law offices. You reach reception. Make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And you can call Mr. Davis. Make sure when you speak to Mr. Davis, you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. And then you can get books from that, or you can get other attorneys besides besides CPS, dependency law. We have attorneys dealing with family, with divorce, with immigration, with the workplace, with injury lawsuits and things like that. So, and criminal matters and everything. So that is a very useful number there. And you know the schedule when Mr. Davis is on or Bob Pace is on. And any other questions you could ask them. So that is the number there. I'm going to put my number back on so you guys can call in. Before I forget, there's another website I didn't share with you. It's called https://Vincent wdavis.com. That's the main website that tells about his office. And there you can find a lot of information on there, a lot of information. And I'd love for you to call in and get help there. Now I'll put my phone number back up. So I pretty much have covered a lot of things. While you're in this room, please feel free to use the emojis, thumbs up, smiling faces, hearts. Also, you can send me stars. That's great. Please check below to follow me. And then if you want to be notified when I'm on, check the notification button. But that is, and also take notes and so forth. And I love to see your messages right now. So I'd love to have you text me messages. And I have my regular group that comes in. I want to thank them. Um, they were on last night. I had Travis, who's from Kansas City, Missouri. And he has a hard, difficult case. He's trying to find his daughter. He doesn't know if she's alive or dead. It seems like CPS and the police in Kansas City, Missouri are not helping them. Now, fighting CPS is tough. It's like Alice in Wonderland. You've fallen in the rabbit hole. You met the Chester cat. They direct you from room to room, but you don't know where you're going or what you're doing. That's why you need an attorney to navigate, to help show you around, because they're not transparent. They're not at all. They are so bad. There was a case in 2022 about the pink ladies in Prescott, Arizona. The CPS entity there called Department of Children and Services, DCS, had these ladies, 8 of them, buy pink T-shirts, and on the front they stenciled "professional child kidnappers," and then on the back they put, "Parents, do you know where your children are at?" And that's the intimidation factor of CPS. That was gross. That was bad. And they paraded around all the major department stores, Costco and Walmart and Target and Best Buys and Sears and J.C. Penney and May Company. I think I've covered them all. I can't remember, but anyway, they paraded around with that message, and it really shook up parents. They got a hold of City Hall, and those 8 social workers, along with the director, the 9th person there, were fired. But that left the entity there, the Department of Children Services, with only one person to handle the phone calls and do the investigation, go out and do that. So it hurt. It hurt a lot of people in a lot of different areas. Our children weren't being protected, and then the people that were mishandling the department were gone. So it's a horrible thing to deal with CPS in a lot of different areas. And I only give example of my daughter who was stolen from us. and the eight pink ladies. Pink is supposed to be a symbol of breast cancer awareness, and they were totally, totally wrong on what they did. Totally wrong. Unphantom. And that's why they were fired. And that was 35 years of experience those eight ladies had. So that department really hurt. It hurt children that are being abused, that are being neglected. And as I say, 1,000 of them go unreported every day. And that is hard there. That's hard. Now, my rooms have come in, and I have somebody here called Christina Reynoso, who I've known for a long time. And God bless you for showing up, Christina. I was wondering where all my family is. My 9-year-old son, he was wrongly taken, adopted out, abused by adoptees, and then friend, he and I soon like strangers. He was taught you ignore me in public and not to like me by his adopted parents from 4 years to 15 years of age. Here he is either me with a fatal brain de- decrease. He has involuntary movements I'm needing to edit for I continue with my family grievances, hiding from my bile except to take him food or cigars, etc. The damage from torment and threatening is horrid until I can get. Your son, wow. I'm so sorry, Christina. You've been on this live stream for a long time, and I'm glad you showed up. And God bless you, and special prayers your way, Christina. Christina Reynosa is from California, by the way. And this is hard to believe that CPS would do all these things, all these things. So I'm so glad you showed up, and my prayers go out, and my thoughts are your remarkable mother there. So, um, I mentioned something about my laws, my rules, you want to call them. There are nine of them. There's five of them. One is you get an attorney, and you need to get an attorney trained in juvenile law, family law, dependency law. And I have an attorney. His name is Vincent W. Davis. He qualifies many times over. Somebody you should consider, and you can talk to him either for 15 minutes for free by being a guest or calling in or paying $60 and talk for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So you get an attorney. That is the key to your success. Without an attorney, you're going to flounder, and especially use the court appointed attorneys who don't have a background in juvenile law, family law, or dependency law. Uh, I know every time I do the show, I keep saying different things, and I try to. I like to talk, but I also like to work off reactions. So Annie from Wisconsin, that's a good name. Now I know where you're from. I know your names. That's really good. Thank you, Annie from Wisconsin. And she says, "What does it mean when the judge calls a case garbage?" Well, I'm not too fond of judges. Judges are supposed to be referees in legal matters, but there are a lot of bad judges out there. There's lots of judges that play politics. And so if you have a case with a judge, there's a good chance that he's a corrupt judge. He may not have the background. My judge didn't. My judge only had background in damage complaints, automobile accidents, nothing in child protection services, nothing at all. Um, if he says what his judge called garbage, maybe it's full of half truths and from both the CPS workers and the parents. Maybe it's a combination. That's why it's called garbage. But that's a horrible thing to have a judge say anyway. Um, They're supposed to be unbiased and supposed to be a referee. Now, Christina Reynosa says, I'm struggling. He's a mess. CPS destroys souls, minds, and R9 children. When you say the letter 9, I'm confused what R9B means. R9B, row 9B. I'm trying to understand that. Children of their innocence. Yes, children's innocence are destroyed, families are destroyed. In fact, in 1994, Bill Clinton signed into law called the incentive law, where they gave money to child protection systems for having children adopted in foster care instead of doing free family unification. And that was sad. That was sad because a lot of people took advantage of that. That should be in that role. Because you did normal channels, you wouldn't be spending that particular time. So um, I know that you have a case there, Christina, and but if you can explain me what R9B is, that would help me. That would help me. And also, I assume your child's home any special needs, and so you need to do that. So um, anyway, um, I talked about my first rule. My second rule is document, 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 and that is so important. And there's one page you need to create in documents. It's called the incident time log. It's a time of incidents that happen in your case from beginning to where you're at the present. You should always use 3 lines on some good college rule notebook and put it in a notebook paper there. Good morning. This is Bob Pace with the Law Office of Vincent W. Davis and my live stream. How can I help you? Oh, well, they hang up. And again, I don't know if they're calling me to talk about something, but it was area code 818, and I'll try them again. So even if I did a 2 or 3 day turnaround, anything above 100 pounds. I don't think so. I'm not sure. It would tell you. You'd have to order the premium ones. All right, I'll try them in a few minutes, so maybe they can call in. Um, I'm struggling. He's a mess. CPS destroys my minds and army. Okay, if you can tell me what R9B is, and your child is with you now, but he's a special needs child. Um, anyway, going back to the documents and that incident time log, the first sentence you should put the location or phone number because you may be meeting somebody and the incident happened, or you may be calling somebody. Then put the date and time it happened, and then the people involved. That goes all in the first line. The second line should be a summary of what the incident was about. All it has to do is be a quick sentence, the incident, what it was about. And then the last line should be the results of the incident, how it panned out, or is it still ongoing, or you still need to talk about it. But those are 3 ways to make that instant timeline. And you'll become so much nicer because 6 months into your case, a year into your case, you have all your notes. I know it's frustrating what you're going through, but but it's hard. It is really, really, really hard. Your notebook consists of subject tabs and all your court papers and your drug tests and your grade reports for your kids, their shot records, and those kinds of things. Now, rule 3 is that you do not talk to social workers, do not let them in your home, do not give up your children. It's your constitutional rights. If the children is in immediate danger, they will enter the home. Um, if both parents are there and they're arguing in front of their children, it will come in. I was thinking, when they come to your door, there's a knock. And as a small child, you're taught don't answer the door, do not talk to strangers. Well, the police and social workers are strangers, and it's your constitutional right not to open the door. Your drawbridge is up, your castle's closed. You're protected constitutionally for not opening the door. There's only three ways they get into your home. One, you give them permission, or a family member gives them permission. Or two, they have a warrant, a true warrant, an executed warrant correctly. There are a lot of false warrants out there. And you have to be careful. CPS is notorious using false warrants. So you got to check to see if it's legit. And one way to check it is to see if the date on it is a working date, meaning if it's a holiday date, like a weekend or a holiday during the weekday, then it's a bogus because the court is not open on holidays. Even things like Good Friday, the courts are closed. And a lot of businesses close it because of Good Friday. It's their choice. But the idea of letting them in your home, too many people have been shot and killed. I mean, I think about them. I think about the black airman that was shot 5 times in the chest. He died talking on FaceTime, all because the Gainesville sheriff was at a mistaken apartment and he was investigating domestic violence, but he was at the wrong place and he decided to shoot first before talking to the client. Um, Again, Christina, what does R9B mean? And is your child 15 today, or is he back with you? I'm a little confused by what you wrote. And is he a special needs child, too? Now, my number's up. You can call me at 626 698 0990. Now, a third way they can get in your home is if there's violence taking place and your children are caught up in it, they can open the door. Now, I just forgot when I was talking about my timeline incident, I forgot to tell you what the second line was. That's a summary of the incident. And the third line is the outcome of the incident. Somehow I forgot those two there. But you got to watch medical trafficking. That happens a lot. The guy this morning was talking to me about medical trafficking. It's where you take your children into urgent care or the emergency room of the hospital because they really are sick, have high temperature, and you're worried about them. And that's what good parents should do. But unbeknownst to you, there are social workers that hang out there and they hear something right away. They're trying to suspect abuse. That's their goal. So you got to be careful of them. You got to be careful of them. And do not talk to them. Do not give up your children. They have to have a warrant too to take your children. And if you're going there to have your baby, you've already previously told who can come in the room. And if the police or the social worker walks in while you're having your baby, tell them to leave. Tell the hospital staff that they're not on your list. So that's a bad thing that does happen a lot lately. And rule number 4 is the rule that deals with the research, the internet. It's important that you put the proper hierarchy of words. You start off with the city, followed by the state, followed by the country, and then the letter CPS. Now, I mean by the country's outside the United States. You follow the letter CPS, a lot of things will show up. Now, if you want to, um, I'm, geez, sometimes I've been doing this now for a long time, and I have to recollect my thoughts. I was talking about rule number 3, and then rule number 4 is where we look up on the internet. It's very important in your placement of words. You start out with the city, the state, and then if you're in the country, if you're out of the country, of course, and then you want to put in the letter CPS, and then a lot of things will pop up. But then you can further refine it after those letters CPS and put what you're looking for, like an attorney, a juvenile law, a family law, a dependency attorney. You can say you're looking for. And um, if you want to further refine it, you can put after the letter CPS, like you want to find about how to file a 388 motion or 160 hearing or 180 hearing, or what is ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978. And you can put that in, that further refines it. So it's so important you spend 60 to 80 hours on the internet working on that. And then the last rule, rule 5, is you want to gather all your important documents and make copies of them: marriage licenses, birth certificates, driver's license, your children's grade reports, your children's shot records, your children's any special health related items. And you make all those copies and attach it with your notebook in an envelope. So you have those documents. So that would come in really, really, really handy. And then um, that stuff that you make copies of would be put in an envelope, and you can um, you can talk about that and stuff. So I implore you to look at those 5 rules. And so I really encourage you to really follow those 5 rules, because if I did, I would never have my children taken from me. I did the mistake of opening up my home. I made the mistake of talking to them, and uh, and I made the mistake of giving up my children. Those are 3 awful mistakes, and I'm paying the price for it. My case has gotten really bad. My case has gotten really bad. Um, you know, uh, being involved has hurt me job wise. My age has hurt me job wise. Age should not be a factor, but it is. But um, that is sometimes I hope that I press upon the fact how important it is for you to not do the same mistakes that I make. I'm dedicated to y'all. I'm dedicated to you all to make it a better time about it. And so my number's up there. It's 626-698-0990. Let's see some new. Uh, Okay, so we search it and we'll see what comes up. Come on, it's trying to load. I thought I'd try child protection system instead of child protection services. I'm back. I guess I lost it on the internet, and I don't know how much you missed of the article I was talking about, but I'm back and I'm talking, and hopefully you hear me. Um, Christina, if you're in here, can you say hi to me? I don't know what's happened to my people in the room. Um, wow. Let me go back here. Somehow, I'm sorry, but um, I've lost Christina Renault's comments. I have Annie from Wisconsin who said, um, "What does it mean that when the new judge calls a case garbage?" And I tried to answer that, but where is Christina? I know that my voice is working. I know I'm transmitting. I have about 5 minutes left, and we were talking about the America's New Child chapter. Um, there's not much more as well. So today we want to spend the hour talking about this reform, learning what aspects of it are good news indeed, and what still needs to be done from the hundreds of thousands of children and family who in some way depend on federal child welfare. And later we will hear from some of those people. Now, a guy named Zachary Laris, he's the founder of the executive director at Boulder Horizons, a nonprofit that focuses on child welfare policies and advocacies. And he joins us from Springfield on the point. Um, and so here's the narrative of it. So Zach says, "Thanks for having me." And the spokesperson said, "So you have described in your website, Child Welfare, that this is a huge bipartisan victory for children and family. And it's the acumen of protecting American children by strengthening the Families Act, which makes it so huge in your eyes." Now, I didn't know about the Family Act. I'm learning a lot more this as I speak to you. The Family Act is something that Congress has passed. If you go to congress.gov, and there's something called the American Children and Families Act, and it's HR Bill 9076, and it was passed at the 118th Congress in 2324. It says, "Protect American children by seeking the Families Act." This title reauthorizes the fiscal year 229 certain children to family services modified programs related to prevention service, youth and foster care, parental substance use disorder, and kinship caregiving, which are generally administered by the children and family. First, the title reauthorizes funding, which is good, and then promoting safe and stable family programs. It requires 3% of allocated funding be directly to Indian tribes. So the Indian tribes get 3% of this funding. The title reauthorizes the court improvement program and requires to issue guidance for technological changes necessary to conduct proceedings remotely. The title recognizes revised regional partnership grants. It's also must review administrative requirements for state welfare agencies. The title authorized grants to states and other organizations to value challenged families. Further, state plans for welfare service must describe how states may offer virtual caseworker reviews to the youth. Um, the title also authorizes family preservation and family support service for youth under the age of 26. It also includes within the definition of family preservation services not requiring short terms. The title also reauthorizes grants to caseworkers. This takes effect October 1st, 25. I didn't hear about it. I'm so glad to hear about this. And it goes further on to talk about the strengthened state and tribal support. Well, what I want to do is I want to come back to it because my time is going to be up. And I want to come back to this important topic that I discover the new chapter in Americans' child welfare system, the welfare system. And maybe there's some things that can help all of you out there while you listen to me talk. But I want to thank all of you that called in. I want to thank Crystal Reynosa, who's been in here a long time. And somehow her topics were removed from my room. And I don't know why. Um, I don't know why they were removed. And I apologize to Crystal Reynosa. Now, Annie from Wisconsin still here. But apparently, I was knocked off the air and then her things were removed. So uh, I got to ask Grace, my show producer, what happened, and maybe she can tell me. But I want to thank you all for listening. I'll be on again at 10 o'clock this evening, Pacific Standard Time. And I'd love to help you and hear about your case. I'm going back to making phone calls. If you want a lawyer, please call me at 626-698-0990. I'll help you. I'll be on the phones to 1:30 today. And um, thank you all for listening. God bless you. Keep fighting for your children. And I will talk to you later. This is Bob Pace signing off.